I had a hobby too. Mine happened to be guns and ballistics. And I studied guns and ballistics as much as I could, and I wrote an article about high velocity.
So out of all my years working at Weatherby, the last 5 have been some of the most exciting. Working with Adam, with him running the company.
And to think that I get the opportunity of carrying on my grandfather's legacy 75 years later here in Sheridan, Wyoming, I mean, it really is a dream come true.
Oh, I'm home. Thank God I'm home.
On Our Mark, the Weatherby Podcast.
All right, welcome to On Our Mark, the Weatherby Podcast. We have some special guests with us today. Leslie, hello.
Hello.
Teresa, hello.
Hello there.
Teresa has been with Weatherby for 35 years. And we're going to unpack that in a little bit. But Leslie is one of, actually both of you guys, as far as kind of office folks go, carpet walkers. Maybe maybe somebody called us carpet walkers at one point. But you carpet walkers were among the few of the carpet walkers that made it from California.
We are.
To Sheridan, Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to talk about that a little bit too. But it's probably safe to say that between the two of you guys, y'all hold this whole place together.
Of course we do.
And I like the confidence.
I mean, yes.
So, Teresa, where did you start with Weatherby? Because there's a cool thing here. You're the only Weatherby employee, to my knowledge, that has worked at like every facility essentially.
Except for the very original one. But yeah, I started in Southgate in February 1st, 1986.
Wow.
I was 12 then.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. So what did that look like? Were you into guns before, or were you just like, I'm looking for a job? What?
I wasn't even looking for a job. The people in the business next to me said, hey, you should apply at this place. The gal worked there before. And so she set up the interview. I had no idea who it was. I let my brother and my dad know. They were both in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea who Weatherby was. And they said, oh, cool. I said, okay, what do they do? And so they obviously...
That sounds cool, I'll do that.
Yeah, they knew firearms. And the gal that set up the interview, she said, even if you work there for a year to get the experience. And I said, okay. And here I am all these years later.
So you went from Southgate to Atascadero?
Southgate to Atascadero to Paso Robles, and now here.
Did you personally move as part of this? I mean, Southgate, I'm not great at California geography, and maybe not everybody that's listening is. So how far is it from Southgate to Atascadero?
About 250 miles.
So you moved?
Oh, yes.
And then
gladly.
Out of LA, yes.
Atascadero and Paso are pretty close.
About 10 miles apart. Mm-hmm.
But you definitely moved when you went from Paso to Sheridan.
Oh, yes.
What's the same from 35 years ago today, and what's different?
Well,
Weatherby's may be listening to this. So.
I know. Well, what's the same different? The same, I mean, there's still some struggles as far as parts availability, dealing with that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But, just dealing with customers and things like that, and making guns, shipping stuff out, but just customer service. And I don't want to get too detailed, but
yeah. So we should be clear too that you've been in customer service for.
I didn't really deal with customer service and on the phones until we got up to Paso or Atascadero.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've been doing customer service for a while.
A long while.
There's probably a lot of people listening that called in and probably talked to you before.
Probably so.
Is there anybody specifically you'd like to give a shout out to?
A customer-wise?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I can't think on the phone. I mean, everybody knows as customers that they know Dean Rumbaugh. I worked with Dean Rumbaugh, so give a shout out to Dean Rumbaugh.
Yeah. Where's my shout out button?
Shout out. Nice, great guy. He would have moved up here what did he say? If it was 20 years earlier, he would have definitely moved up here. A lot of folks probably don't know Fred Toms. He worked in
Shout out.
Southgate, and then he went on to he moved with us to Atascadero, didn't make it to Paso Robles, but he came from J.P. Sauer. He even took pictures at my wedding to my daughter's dad. But funny character, still has that strong German accent, and he'll still call me up now, and Mama Teresa. And but he's an interesting character, real nice guy. But yeah, lots of friends over the years with Weatherby.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would ask you, Teresa, if you can remember your most memorable customer in the past 35 years. What's the one thing that stands out to you dealing with customers?
Well, without naming names, we were just talking about a customer. I don't know how detailed I can get.
Well, we don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but if you don't name a name and there was an instance that happened, and that's cool.
Well, yeah, I can do that. So he had been shipped a rifle years ago and claimed that it was lost in transit, which it wasn't. Then it showed up at a service center. Service center called me and said, "Hey, this customer thinks this bluing should be warranty." So I checked his serial number. I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. That shows it was lost in transit." So then ATF gets involved. ATF shows up at the service center and, confiscates it. That customer, he wrote many letters to Ed Weatherby. And then back in '97 when Adam was there still, during that time frame when he was working, Adam even wrote him. And he just thought that that shouldn't have happened. Like, well, we have the proof that it actually, you thought it was stolen, or didn't deliver it to you. But anyway, that was an interesting.
Yeah, we've got a duty if we know that a gun that was in our care has gone missing. We've got to
And I
report
still
it
have
as
the
such.
paperwork. I pulled it out just a minute ago and was showing one of the guys in service. It was kind of funny. So that's one of the most memorable things, is getting the ATF involved in something like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, is everybody that calls in nice?
I think you know the answer to that. No, but it's really fun. I mean, there was a customer that called in today. He'd written a letter in that I don't think we've received a letter yet, but just walking through the stages of customizing a gun or things on the website that they're not familiar with, especially if it's someone who's not familiar with working with the internet or unfamiliar with that kind of thing. So they're just happy to have the assistance and stuff like that.
Leslie,
Yes,
you moved.
I did move.
How was that?
It's been amazing. I tell everyone, it wasn't something that we were planning, and it just kind of happened for us. We were looking to get out of California anyways, and the team that we have built, I started almost 5 years ago, and I loved the people I worked with, but the team that we've built up here has been so much fun, a pleasure to work with.
Yep.
That's for sure. And I can honestly say, if it wasn't for that team or the people that we have surrounded ourselves with, that we probably wouldn't have been here. But I love Weatherby. I love working for a company that is, all about their employees. And it does actually feel like a family. When you go to a job, you feel like you're, in a family because you're with them most of the time. But this honestly feels like a family. So I'm happy to be here and hopefully continue into Teresa's footsteps, where 30 years later, I'm looking going, oh my goodness, I've been here for 35 years. So, and I can see that with this company, not other companies I could have done that with. So.
Well, and it was interesting when we were at Blacktooth, the day of the anniversary. Last Monday. And when Ed and Sherry...
Blacktooth is a local brewery.
Oh, yes. I failed to mention that part.
No, it's okay.
But Ed and Sherry were in town, and we were talking about, had Weatherby not moved up here to Wyoming when we did, and we were still in California, and all this COVID stuff started, we wouldn't be considered, still a gun company in California. We wouldn't be considered an essential business down there. We would not probably even be around anymore, which is a scary thought.
Very likely that was a possibility.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and I can say, when I say a family company, for Ed and Sherry to come from Oregon for Teresa for 35 years really shows.
Well, they didn't come just for that. They were
Well,
in town for
Yeah,
something.
but
I
I
mean,
mean, they
but
were in
to
town,
show
but
up.
they
But
were
that's
in
true.
town for a limited period of time, and
Yes.
then to come and spend
That's true.
part
Yeah.
of that.
That was
time.
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it bought me
pretty
a
cool.
couple beers.
And I don't think
Shout
any
out.
other boss would do that,
True.
honestly. Any other CEO or anyone that has gone on to retire would have come back to celebrate an employee that has been
It's
with the
certainly
company.
very rare.
Right.
There's no question.
Yeah.
The family thing is definitely real. I mean, I think we've talked about that on a number of different podcasts, and we all feel it in different ways. But Teresa, I want you to give us maybe your take on, beyond just what you said, on how has it been like a family to you over the last 35 years, not just in the last recent history.
Oh, it's just I mean, yeah, just nice, great people to work for. I mean, going through, I knew Roy for just a brief amount of time, you know, starting in '86, and then Ed over the years, and then actually even working with Dan Weatherby for a brief time in sales down in Paso Robles.
Yep. That's Adam's brother.
And then even Jessica worked for a little while
Adam's sister.
in the Atascadero office. Yeah, I mean, just knowing the whole family, and all of them kind of meet a nicer family.
Have any of the Weatherby? Have you had to like be the boss of any of the Weatherbys?
Adam,
When was that?
that was in 96, mid 90s, late 90s.
So he's coming in to the business
Oh, yeah.
early. So yeah, he's pretty young at that point then.
Yes.
So that make
Well,
him,
and
like,
he moved
20-ish?
around from
Yeah.
he worked with Dean for a while in tech support. Learned a lot there, but came in service as well, and that was fun.
I bet learned a lot there as well.
Yeah. So I'd have some stories to tell, but I can't tell those in here.
Oh man, is there one that you can maybe tell? Like, did you have to get onto him for like something? That'd be great to hear about.
Well, no, I mean, there's a couple of things that I can't say in here, but I know he got in trouble. I'm not going to say the story, but he got in trouble from Ed for something he wrote in a service order that a customer called about, but I can't say that part, because then, yeah, that wouldn't be good. No, I'd say something else, but that would embarrass him. Eating cake and stuff, and the phone rings,
on the phone
and
and
he's got chocolate cake everywhere, and he goes, oh, and wipes it on the carpet. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, there's no napkins. I'm like, but still, what the heck are you doing? But
That's
well,
awesome.
he's gonna kill me when he hears this. Oh well,
I think that's okay. You've earned it.
yeah.
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 He says I make stories up about him, but oh well.
What I think is fun too, and I think it's part of the family thing, is that there's safety in a family, right? Like we've got, you can, at least in my family, like my kids give me a hard time, I give my kids a hard time, my wife gives me a hard time, so on and so forth, and some of us, that's just the awkward way that we show love to each other. But I think that's we do that here. Like there's comfort in knowing that we're safe in our positions. We do a good job, hopefully, and then we can kind of joke a little bit with each other and with Adam and Brenda, and I mean it's cool. All part of it.
Well, there was one thing that Janine Reynolds, one time after a SHOT Show, when they were out talking and eating dinner, and after dinner, people enjoying wine or whatever, but she came back from a SHOT Show and she said, I've got to tell you this, that Ed, he said, you know what, one of my favorite things about Weatherby is, and she was thinking, oh, he's going to say something really fantastic, and his comment was, catching Teresa doing things she shouldn't be doing. So during Christmas.
That's what Ed said?
Yeah. So I said that to him at Christmas dinner, and he started laughing. He goes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. Leslie, what's been your experience with Teresa? So you started doing what when you came 5 years ago?
I was the customer experience manager.
What's that mean?
So I was the front desk receptionist, kind of made sure customer experience was, that when a customer would call in, that they wouldn't be upset, hopefully when they got to either sales or customer service. I mean,
Easy job.
so easy. But
It's getting harder too because what people are calling in all the time. Where's my gun? Why can't I get ammo? It's
yeah,
like,
How come you don't have ammo?
yeah,
yeah, we do. It's just Anyway,
all of these questions. I mean, understanding, I mean, you have two people, Dean and Teresa, who've been with this company for, many, many years, and kind of knowing that there's a reason why that they're here. Teresa was so easy to work with, and just hearing her laugh, even from up front when service was in kind of the back of the room, it's just knowing that, you can still have fun when you're dealing with, all of these things, whether it's difficult things, easy things, coworkers, gunsmiths, everything. I mean, they were dealing with everyone. So it's been amazing to work with her.
Laughter is a good release.
It is.
It's either that or cry.
And yeah,
right?
and you can do both at the same time.
Yeah, maybe both have happened. It's 35 years with any company is amazing because what's the average now? Two years roughly, I think, is the average.
Yeah.
The average
that.
tenure, So to last 35 years with one company is really cool, and then to go as long as you have in customer service because it's
Without
not
having a
always
breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always a rewarding job necessarily because especially on what you kind of specialize in service, it's dealing with people's problems. And hopefully there's not a lot of them, but we've got 76 years of guns out there that we still try to take care of. And there's some hard things that people don't like to hear, like we have an accuracy guarantee, and sometimes, most of the time, it's not the gun.
And you have to learn to let things, first let the customer get off their chest what they want to say. And you have to learn to let it roll off your back. They're not pointing it directly at you.
Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of folks don't have an easy time at doing that. In fact, the gal that was originally training me in Southgate, I don't know, I think she left shortly thereafter because she was having a heck of a time. There would be days where she would be crying. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be, what's going on here?
What am I getting myself into?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a heck of a job. But I think she was just going through something herself, but I thought, wow. Yeah, but I don't think she wasn't there very long once I started.
Well, every once in a while on the podcast we do a top something, and so we're gonna roll into our top five.
The Weatherby Top 5.
Some rapid fire coming at you. Who's been your favorite boss at Weatherby?
Oh my goodness. I'll just say Brenda Weatherby.
Good answer.
Also the current boss. That's awesome. Favorite Weatherby product?
I'm going to say, because I have one, my Vanguard Camilla in the wood stock.
The Mark V? I'm sorry, Vanguard wood.
Vanguard woods, yeah.
What cartridge?
308. I'm going to hope to get an antelope this year because I missed out last year.
Least favorite Weatherby product?
The Fausti side-by-side.
Why?
Do I have to say that?
No.
Okay, good.
I like that answer.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Your favorite location to work for
Here.
Weatherby?
By far.
And how many more years?
To retire? Well, it depends. My husband's still in California, so it depends on when he retires as well. But we're gonna. What's that?
Back it up.
I'm like, what did I do?
I think I know where Luke's going with this.
Oh.
So hubby's still back in California.
He's working. He's got a county job with the assessor's office for San Luis Obispo County. So he wasn't going to lose that or move
so
from
he
that.
just had a couple years left to
I'm hoping a couple years left. Are you hearing this? No. So,
Are you listening?
do you hear this?
Nope.
So yeah, we're hoping he's been up here, and we're going to be retiring here after we sell a house down there.
Right on.
Yeah.
So a couple to go, roughly.
My hope,
Cool.
Dawn.
That should have been 5. So.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Dawn, shout out. Are you message is hopefully well received over there.
Yeah, but we're hoping that you have a lot longer.
It's going to be under, what am I, 35 years now? It's not going to be over 40 for sure. Less if I can.
Gotcha.
Fingers crossed. I can't cross these fingers. There.
Well, I've had a pleasure getting to know you in the almost 3 years that I've been here, and it's cool just to see. It's cool coming into a company where there was Dean, there was you, and there were people that had been there for a long time. People like Leslie that came in and spoke highly of the leadership, because it's always a gamble when you go to a new workplace.
New place.
You always go in. Well, hopefully you come in optimistic, and you're like, man, this place is gonna be great. But you don't know for sure. But there's some clues, and I think that's a massive one to see that people have been there for a long time and want to be there still. So.
That's true.
So I think that's cool.
Well, good.
A new segment now. Mail call. We've got some mail to talk about.
Yes. So we've had some customers reach out to us on our new email on our mark at weatherby.com. And I thought I'd bring a little in to have our customer service rep answer some of those. So Chance asked, when did Weatherby start doing the sub-MOA guarantee?
Well,
Sub-MOA guarantee.
We used to offer some sub-MOA rifles before we actually came out with the sub-MOA guarantee. With the Vanguard, it started in 2012. I mean, across the line. And then in the Mark V, it was 2016.
Cool.
Perfect. Chance again. He's got
Same
a lot of
Chance?
same Chance. He's got a lot
Thanks,
of questions. If he was to order a gun from the custom shop, how long will it take for us to get it, and then for him to have it completed and in his hands?
You mean how long before we'd get his order?
He says, how long will it take before you get to it and it is completed?
I mean, they come in every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the order comes in, and then we're at 120 days right
120
now. We
days.
just had to up that. We were at 90.
did.
And,
Right. But so many
the
orders are in
market's been
place now.
crazy, and we are pushing the line on some. So some start. Sorry, I'm speaking for Teresa a little bit on this one, but
Right.
some start on day one, and they take longer, depending on what exactly is involved in it. And then some, it's just getting in the queue. It may only take 2 weeks to really finish that gun, but there's so many in front of it that it just takes a little while to get to them.
But as
Yeah.
far as processing the orders, is he asking that too?
Yes.
It sounded like it.
Yeah.
But those are usually processed within a couple of days or a day
Yeah.
of getting the
24
order.
to 48 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
worst
Yeah.
case, you order on a Saturday. It doesn't get entered until Monday or
And
worst
hopefully
case, Tuesday.
Yeah.
we get the FFL information as soon as
Yes.
that order is entered.
Yes.
There's a little nugget in there, that FFL thing. We've got to know where to ship it.
Right.
We end up finishing a number of custom guns that we want to ship, but we can't ship them because we're not sure
Where to send
where
it
to send it.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, we can't send it to your house.
No. ATF will not allow us to.
Can't just leave it on the porch.
Greg would like to know more about our range certification process. As far as, they have that option within the custom shop to select range certification and action blueprinting, but he wants to know what that entails, our range certification.
Range certification, I think, is well worth the money, especially with the price of ammo and lack of ammo right now, because it takes the guesswork out of you having to go purchase the ammunition. You're going to see it right there on the target and know that it's going to be certified and it's going to shoot what that group is that you're going to get with the rifle. So it would be well worth it, in my opinion, to go ahead and pay for that and get that with your rifle. And you're going to have the engraving on the floor plate, too.
We talked a little bit about that in our barrel break-in podcast. That was, I can't remember what episode that was, but
11, I think, because I keep telling people to
tell
look
people
at
about that one?
Yeah, take
Yeah.
a look at that and the barrel break-in information, and they're like, oh, cool.
I think what maybe not everybody understands, depending on your firearms knowledge, is I think we all have an expectation that I'm going to go buy a gun and it's going to shoot every single type of ammo that exists perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case on any gun. I don't care
Right.
whose it is or how much you paid for it. They could be 2 serial numbers apart,
Right.
and one might like an Accubon and one might like a TTSX.
Yeah.
And you don't know exactly. There's some, I call it some voodoo involved in the whole process, but we go through that and save the trial and error.
And there's
basically.
still a lot of people, even to this day, that I talk to, over the years, that they still feel that every grain weight should shoot exactly the same. And it just does not happen.
Yeah, ballistics are complicated,
Mm-hmm.
from chamber pressures and twist rates, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It all matters for sure. So that takes the guesswork out for the consumer when you do the RC or range certification program.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, Greg, it is a benefit to do it when
Oh, big time.
building your custom shotgun. So,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and add that to the cart.
Especially when ammo's hard to come by right now.
Oh,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. And I think we've said this like the last 3 podcasts, but we're shipping more ammo than we ever have.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's just not enough right now. The demand has been so high, you can't find Creed 6.5 Creedmoor. I mean, it's crazy. Shelves are bare for anything that's remotely popular, and we've just had a really hard time keeping up with demand. It spiked so fast that the entire supply chain for ammo is just kind of wrecked right now.
Right.
It's hard to get primers. It's hard to get projectiles, the powder that we want with the projectile and the case, the 3 like main things that we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get them all at the same time.
People are starting to ask us if we're even selling primers now. And we're like, no.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, just brass and ammo, but
Yeah.
no primers.
No, that's not a profit center for us. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, cool. Teresa, any last thoughts on 35 years?
No.
Teresa Wright in review.
That should be a new segment.
No, I think we've covered everything that I'm able to reveal.
Leslie, is there anything I don't know about Teresa that I should have asked her about?
No.
No, I will say no for this.
That's nice of you. That's
It
really
is
nice of
really
you.
nice.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to On Our Mark, the Weatherby podcast. If you don't already, make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And please also make sure that you're signed up for our newsletter. Our days could be limited on social media with these crazy times. So hopefully our emails are safe and we
Yes.
can continue to send you updates on what's going on here. We actually have a lot of cool stuff planned for this year. Even though we've got a lot of back orders, we've been pedal to the metal in a lot of ways. So I'm excited for some new stuff this year.
Yeah.
So there's a teaser.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thank you.